I'm still so fired up over this Hunter Biden laptop story because there are just so many lies. To me, this is the essence of the unholy alliance between big tech and the Democratic Party and what they got away with in telling so many of us that this was a made-up story, that this was Russian disinformation. I just want to play this montage of media pundits on CNN, MSNBC, New York Times, Washington Post. They all were in collusion together to try to prevent this story from becoming a legitimate point of debate during the course of the 2020 presidential election. Listen.
Biden's secret emails.
A really fishy story.
The Post claimed that the emails were found on a laptop computer that was brought to a repair shop in Delaware in the spring of 2019.
The FBI is now investigating whether those alleged Hunter Biden emails are actually connected to a larger foreign intelligence operation.
They may be related to a foreign intelligence operation.
Foreign intelligence operation.
Foreign intelligence.
Foreign intelligence.
Foreign intelligence operation.
For all we know, these emails are made up.
The information found on the laptop may be part of a Russian disinformation campaign.
Part of a Russian disinformation effort.
Described by many intelligence experts as having hallmarks.
All the hallmarks, rather.
All the hallmarks of a Russian
disinformation.
Russian disinformation
campaign.
This is a classic example of the right-wing media machine.
It's one thing when you have Brian Stelter, like, it's Russian disinformation. I've read, you don't expect, he doesn't know anything. It's amazing that this guy has even the, whatever, hundreds of people that watch every day who do. But none, that's one thing, right? But when you have, as the New York Post rightly pointed out, and big hat tip to them for it, some of the former directors of our intelligence agencies, some of whom, some of the folks that are on that front page of the New York Post, I worked for. I know some of these people. They went either completely out of their minds or were willing accomplices in the lie to the apparatus. And this is how you know, none of them are embarrassed. There's no mea culpa. There's no, I probably shouldn't have gone along with Russian. You could say that about anything, Clay. I could sit here and say, you're not really Clay Travis. You're, Igor Igorovich, who's actually a KGB spy. I can't prove I'm wrong. They have amazing technology over there. The whole thing is completely insane. And yet here we are seeing that they totally lied. They lied with the collusion of big tech to suppress. And the people who were on that front page of the New York Post cover last week, they feel like they did their part. That they lied for a bigger purpose is how they view it, which is what everybody should know about the apparatus. It's not about the truth. It's about power.
Well, and what's incredible about this is how there are no consequences yet. Now, I want to play the reporter asking Jen Psaki about it as well. And then, Buck, I've got a theory about what might be going on here. And by the way, if you missed it, the New York Times suddenly decided to acknowledge, and this story was buried on like the 20th page of the print edition, that all of the emails in the Hunter Biden laptop scandal were real. And Buck, did you spend time going through this? The idea from the get-go that this could have been Russian disinformation, there were so many photos and videos of Hunter Biden that it would have been impossible for anybody who actually spent 10 minutes looking at this at any of the things that were on this laptop. It would have been impossible to forge this as Russian disinformation.
A few of my friends in the media, Clay, had the mirror image of this hard drive and were offering it out to other news organizations. Because let's be very clear, even when they talk about the Facebook ads that were supposed to sway the election, as you've pointed out, many have done the analysis on this. That's like saying you're changing the temperature of the ocean by pouring a glass of hot water into it. It was $100,000 that were spent with billions and billions of dollars being spent. It's a joke. But even that you'd see, there are misspellings. There are things, the Russian disinformation actually looks like at some level it's being done by Russians. There's usually pretty clear. When you have intimate photos of Hunter Biden, if you were faking those, it'd be pretty easy for one, Hunter Biden to come out and say these are faked. And two, you would see there would be telltale signs that this was altered imagery. They don't know what the interior of Hunter Biden's home or the hotel or motel or wherever he was staying looks like. It'd be so easy to disprove this. So what they did was create a false standard of, unless you can guarantee me 100% that this is that there's no way this could have ever been faked, I'm going to act like it's fake, which is insane. You could do that, like I said, with anything.
And to me, the way the New York Times coming out and writing the story, I expect for there to be I really do. I expect for there to be significant charges coming against Hunter Biden.
Man, we might have to significant charges coming against who?
Against Hunter Biden. Like, I think that there are going to be when you look.
No way, gentlemen's bet. I want some barbecue out of this, Travis.
We will bet I think that Durham is going to have the goods. Now, I don't know exactly what those charges are going to be
against Biden's son. You think there'll be charges? I mean, that would be.
Yes.
That would be contra everything we have seen, stretching back to James Comey, who straight up bailed Hillary Clinton out from taking a criminal plea, which she should have had to do over the emails. Everything that we've seen from Comey holding the memos and then they were classified, but they weren't. You think that they're going to, this Department of Justice is willing to bring a single criminal charge against Hunter Biden?
I think so. And I think that's why the thing about why would the New York Times suddenly decide? So just to take a step back. Let's. This is maybe me going down into the wormhole of media. The New York Times has spent 17 or 18 months, Buck, basically pretending that the Hunter Biden laptop doesn't exist and that it's not significant. And by the way, let me play the audio of Jen Psaki. We'll play the audio later in the show, but let me ask you this. So go into the wormhole with me, if it were. Why would the New York Times, Buck, suddenly decide after 17 months, 18 months of the Hunter Biden laptop story, it isn't real, it's Russian disinformation, there's nothing to it? Yeah. Why would they suddenly decide to write an article? Now, they did write the article saying Hunter Biden had paid off his $1 million in debt.
So I think your analysis here is moving in the right direction. It's just the conclusion that I would be differing with. Or again, I don't know, you don't know, and there might be some fancy pork ribs from my friends in Nashville that I'm feasting on as a result of this. Let me say this. The headline, remember, we pulled the laptop is true story out of a piece that was, we should pull up the headline to read it again, just so we have it. But the Hunter Biden New York Times story was meant to be as boring and sort of anodyne, not a big deal as it possibly. Here you
and
go.
And actually even favorable because it said he paid off his $1 million in debt.
So here you go. Hunter Biden paid tax bill, but broad federal investigation continues. To me, that's not they're finally coming clean and lining this up for charges against Hunter Biden. To me, that is nothing to see here. No big deal. Everybody makes little mistakes.
Why cover
just
it
a
at
little
all?
Issue with the tax man.
Why cover it at all?
Oh, because they're not the only news outlet, so they have to. So by covering it, they go first. They set the narrative. They set the talking points for CNN and everybody else, right? Because so now to your point, Clay, were there others? Is the New York Post, Wall Street Journal, were they about to break something on this or working on pieces on this federal investigation that would have been? Think about what the title could be. President's son is an influence peddling, federal tax dodging disaster, right? I mean, there's so many ways you could have gone. Hunter Biden paid tax bill is the first thing to do here. They're acting as the Biden regime lawyers through the pages of the New York Times. And I think so, in a sense, Clay, to speak your language, it's like this was part of discovery. They had to handle it. They had to hand it over. So they're trying to give it the most positive spin possible. That's how I see it. I mean, obviously.
So my thought here is Hunter Biden's team knows that they're in trouble. And they are going to favorable media outlets to try to color the coverage in a favorable way, right? This headline, to your point, the headline is, oh, holy crap, the New York Times is finally acknowledging that the Hunter Biden laptop is real, which everybody out here knew.
That was
who
our
had
headline,
a functional brain.
Not the New York Times headline.
No.
Right. Yeah.
But that's our headline pulling out of it. But implicitly in that article, they are acknowledging it, and they're trying to curry favor. Even in that article, Buck, it says that when you pay your bill that's owed for tax issues, it doesn't take away from the fact that you committed tax fraud. It just helps your defense in the event that charges are brought. To me, this is Hunter Biden's team going to the New York Times and saying, hey, We want to try to control this narrative. Things are not going well for us. The fact that he paid the $1 million tax bill, and by the way, where did the money come from? Probably illicit funds in some way. Maybe it was the art gallery sales. Who knows? But I do believe that there are going to be charges brought against Hunter Biden. I will wager you a fine steak dinner that there will be charges brought against Hunter Biden.
All right. You've got to bet, my friend, because here's how I see it. Will there be the possibility of charges? Will there be some? Remember the Comey speech, which was bizarre, by the way. He wasn't the attorney general. He was the FBI director. Hillary Clinton, one thing I do know about are the protocols for handling of classified information, because the CIA terrifies the crap out of you when you work there about, if you mess up on this, we're going to lock you in the deepest, darkest hole ever. You'll never see your family again. Unless apparently you're Hillary Clinton, in which case the rules no longer apply. Like that was, she was State Department, but it's still classified. Comey came forward and said, well, yeah, technically there's a violation of law here, but. So the way I see this playing out, clearly Hunter Biden is a legal,
he's got
and ethical
many different
catastrophe in many ways, and the media has covered for him as much as they can up to this point. But what prosecutorial authority at the federal government is going to bring charges against the president's son on this kind of stuff? I mean, who's going to be the AUSA or the U.S. attorney, more obviously it'd be U.S. attorney level or even attorney general level, where they say, yeah, we're bringing, you think there's a world in which this attorney general says we're bringing charges against Hunter Biden? Because that's what would have to happen.
I think the Durham probe is going to uncover clear evidence of crime.
But they can only refer. They don't bring the charge, right?
But they lay it out. They lay it out, and I think, yes, I think it's going to be impossible. Now, the timing on this is also interesting, right? Because it's taken forever.
You're calling a shot, by the way, not even the upper deck here. You're calling like out of the stadium, the ball.
I'm not saying he's going to get convicted. I'm not saying that there's not going to be some sort of plea agreement down the line. But to me, the timing becomes interesting here too, Buck. Because do you want these charges coming out before the midterms? If so, you need to do it soon, like the report. You need the report out sooner rather than later. And then on top of that, to me, you also, if you don't get them out sooner rather than later, maybe you wait till after the midterms. I think this is such a big story that I believe is going to get bigger and bigger.
There's nothing to any of that. Nothing to any of that. It's all a smear. Every major outfit, every serious investigator has pointed out that this is a smear. There's overwhelming evidence that from the intelligence community that the Russians are engaged. I mean, look, my son's an honorable man. Every one of the major people who worked for Trump during the impeachment went under oath, and under oath said Biden did his job. No law was broken. This Biden did his job. Hunter Biden broke no laws.
That was right before the election in 2020, just so everyone knows. That was then candidate Joe Biden. And I think it's important for us to just say it because it's the truth. There's a lot of things these days you can't say even though they're true. Here's the thing that's the truth, Clay. Joe Biden's a liar.
Yes.
For all the talk about him being a cuddly old grandpa, he's a liar. A big old liar.
Totally. And so are a lot of media. I mean, this to me, the story that Joe Biden would lie to protect his drug-addicted, I believe, felonious behaving son does not surprise me. The fact that the media would all carry water and allow this entire argument to exist. We played all the media that agreed with this allegation being a falsehood. I'm more disgusted by the media than I am with Biden. I mean, I'm not surprised. Are you? I mean, parents lie on behalf of their idiot kids all the time.
No, I'm not saying that Biden shouldn't have lied on behalf of his idiot kid. It's that the rest of the country should have been told the truth by the media, and it was obvious that he was lying.
That's what's infuriating here, is the media allowed his lie to be accepted as truth.
So did all these former Intel senior professionals.
That's even worse. And from my perspective, I mean, you know better than me, that feels even worse than the media doing.
They betrayed their country, but they think they did it a big favor.